Good evening. Welcome to the February 11th meeting of the Lowell Conservation Commission. We'd like to start off with a continued item, a notice of intent, City of Lowell, Mass DEP 206-0848, project location Billerica Street over Marginal Brook Bridge. A notice of intent has been filed by the City of Lowell to replace a failing 10-foot span culvert with a 15-foot span culvert located on Billerica Street over Marginal Brook. All work is within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland and inland bank, within the 25-foot riverfront area, and within the FEMA 100-year floodplain. Do we have anybody from the city to speak on this item?
Hello, this is Emily Klickner on Zoom from TEC.
Good evening.
Hello. I'm going to share my screen if that's all right.
Please do.
My name is Emily Klickner. I'm here with TEC. We are working with the city on this project for the proposed bridge replacement on Billerica Street. The project is located on Billerica Street at the intersection of Bolton Street, and the Marginal Brook runs underneath the roadway. As previously discussed, Mass DEP file number 206-0848. I'll go over the existing conditions and what we're proposing to do here, and then we'll go over the resource area impacts. The existing culvert is severely deteriorated. There are large sections of spalling with exposed rebar, and this has led to one lane of the roadway being closed. This roadway has been closed for at least 2 years at this point. And the existing drainage outlets directly into the stream along 3 of the wing walls. We're proposing to replace the deteriorated culvert with a 15-foot span, 3-sided precast concrete culvert with precast or cast-in-place wing walls. Our proposed design meets the stream crossing standards. We'll be relocating the existing drainage outlets and proposing new riprap aprons at the outlets. We are relocating the sewer main to closely match the existing. We'll be providing new bridge rail and guardrail, and we'll be restoring the stream bed within the limit of work and resurfacing the roadway.
So the resource area impacts associated with the project total 115 feet of bank. That's going to be pushed back out to the new span of the culvert. So that's 115 feet permanent and proposed as replacement. And then we have another additional 25 feet as just temporary grading. The bank is going to remain in place. For land underwater, we have 4 square feet permanently lost due to the new wing wall positions. But we have 245 square feet created because that span did increase. And then another 628 square feet of temporary disturbance where we're going to install the new culvert. There's 6,287 square feet of bordering land subject to flooding within the limit of work, and 5,060 square feet of riverfront area. We have a 25-foot riverfront area here. This new culvert is going to provide 70 cubic feet of flood storage compared to the existing. And there are no impacts to the proposed BVW. They're located offset from the project.
During construction, the contractor will provide us with the control of water plan in order to ensure that all work is done in the dry, and we will provide various sediment control and floating silt fences to ensure that no sediments enter the waterway during construction. Are there any questions?
Can you tell me the method of keeping this site dry for construction?
The control of water plan will be contractor designed. However, we suggest a combination of cofferdams to block off the waterway and a pump to divert the water around the construction site. And the water will go through a stilling basin in order to ensure that no sediments are added back to the waterway.
I have no exception with this proposal. Any other comments?
No, it looks like it looks like necessary work that needs to be done for the repair to the bridge, and I think the resource will be protected during the project, and so I think it also looks like a good project.
Comments? Do you have any comments?
I do not, thank you.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that motion.
Next.
I'll make a motion to issue a City of Lowell standard order of conditions for the project.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Next up, we have another item of continued business, the notice of intent. Mass DEP file number 2060847, project location 35 Bull Road extension. We have talked about this at somewhat of length at a previous meeting, and I was very hesitant on how to proceed. I don't know if there's any changes that you would like to present, but I'd like to continue for a moment. I do apologize for having to drag all of you guys out here. I'm glad that this got continued so I could do some homework. I think that I've wrapped my head around the approval process for it. I'm changing my sentiment entirely, and I'm looking forward to personally voting to approve this project. The time between this and the last meeting that you were here opened up some doors and answered some questions as to how we can set this aside from a standard project and allow approval without crossing over any boundaries that we might set in precedent. So again, apologies to make you all come out here and join us in this very exciting Wednesday evening, but thank you for your support. This is still a public hearing, as it is a notice of intent. You're more than welcome to get up and speak, but basically what I see that we have here is an area that is already disturbed. There is a sidewalk which wraps around the entire new construction area. It is already, it is disturbed, and additionally, we have a special case here that even if we were to look at potential future code changes for projects like this, they would include waiver authority for special conditions and special cases, as is yours. I feel very confident in approving this without stepping on any precedent. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add?
I was not at the last meeting, but I watched it in its entirety, and my colleagues brought up a lot of really important questions. But given the circumstances, I believe that's why we're all here on the board, to make these decisions, and I'll also be voting in favor.
Yeah, I also given some time to think about it and to review the project a little more. And with Commissioner Bootniz's, words there, yeah, I think that we can move ahead with that project.
Is there anything that you would like to add before we take a vote?
We all set?
Anybody can do it.
We're good.
Public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
to approve.
I'll make a motion to issue this project a City of Lowell Standard Order of Conditions.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Sorry to drag you all out.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, next up, we have an item of new business. This is a notice of intent, Residents First Development Corporation, P.O. Box 3300, Beverly, Mass. DEP file number is unassigned, I believe. Has that changed?
No, we have applied for the file number. We do not have it yet.
Okay, so in that case, we cannot vote on this item tonight. The project location is 165 Nelson Ave and 33-113 Addy Way. A notice of intent has been filed by Residents First Development Corporation to create 16 additional lots within the PRD and increase the approved number of units from 181 to 187. All work is within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland and within the FEMA 100-year floodplain. This project is also known as River's Edge. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and good evening to all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. For the record, my name is John Gary of Gary & Gary LLP, 32 Church Street, Lowell, Mass. I'm here tonight representing the applicant, Residents First Development Corporation. As you all may know, Residents First is a nonprofit developer that's responsible for the redevelopment of the former Julian Steel housing development off of Gorham Street. With us tonight, we have Brian Melissi. Brian is the project engineer for this project. We have Dennis Connors. Brian is the engineer. Dennis is the project manager. We are before you tonight requesting.
Sorry to interrupt. 1 second. Do you want to recuse yourself?
I'm going to recuse myself as I had previous involvement with the Lowell Housing Authority as a commissioner.
I am going to have them give their presentation, and we can hear it through. Now we don't have a quorum anyway, so the second reason we can't vote. But oh, hi Marie. We have a quorum, but whatever.
Hi, Brad. I've been here.
I forgot about you.
That's okay. That's okay.
Carry on.
All
Sorry
right,
for the
so
interrupt.
we're here tonight requesting a notice of intent so that we can construct the final phase of this River's Edge development. To date, actually, the final phase includes the construction of 32 dwelling units on 16 lots. Each lot will contain a duplex building, totaling 32 dwelling units. The finished product will be sold to prospective buyers with income levels of between 70 and 100% of the average median income. The project history with this commission, so the first order of conditions was issued back in June of 2008. Subsequently, from that point, there was an extension granted in April of 2016, and then another one in February of 2015. And that's, as the project was being built out, it became necessary for those extensions. They were requested and granted. A certificate of compliance was never requested for this order of conditions. The order expired, a certificate was never requested. And for the most part, that's because this project sort of fizzled out. We were, the last unit was sold in 2016. Around that same time, funding sources became very scarce and the project became dormant. This is not your typical developer that, completes a project within a year or two. This was a nonprofit, and nonprofits look for different funding sources. In this case, the funding sources dried up and the project became dormant. But at this point, we have the opportunity to move forward and try to finish this final phase. To date, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, there have been 155 units constructed and occupied. With the additional 32 units that we're proposing, the total number will be 187 dwelling units. We've received and had an opportunity to review the staff comments. I'll leave the details of those staff comments for Brian to explain to the board, go through the technical aspects of it. I would mention that simultaneously with what we are doing tonight, we're also working through the other aspects of permitting through the city, the planning board, the city council for approval of the revised special permit. Ultimately, this is a very good project for the city of Lowell. We are producing 32 additional affordable housing units to be added to the city's housing stock, which is critical. We really want to move forward without too much more delay on this project. So our request tonight, when we are able to come back and we have our DEP number and there's a vote, our request is that we be allowed to request a certificate of compliance. And with the issuance of the new order, we carry over any conditions that have not been completed as of this point in time. So that new order will reflect whatever conditions are outstanding. So that's where we're at this point. I will leave the presentation to Brian so he can go through the details of the plan.
Do you mind sharing a little bit more about why you're requesting that?
Because the order has expired at this point.
Okay. But if the project's not complete, I mean, what's the difference to you between leaving that one open for completion upon the completion of the project? I might be missing something.
For the record, Mr. Chair, Brian Wilson, the Haley Ward, project engineer. If I may kind of approach the board a little bit, I think I can get into some of that stuff a little bit more detail. I would like to do is clean this up. For you guys to kind of follow along here. Thanks. So very quickly, again, this is the River's Edge project. It's off of Gorham Street, River's Edge, Eklund Drive. It was cut up into 5 phases. 4.5 phases are complete. The project that you in front of you tonight is really just this orange highlighted area, the last few lots that make the circle around 80 Way or Addy Way. It should be noted that this crossed out area here was removed from the project that had a wetland crossing, so this is no longer going to be constructed. Part of the original order of conditions had a couple of wetland fill areas along with some wetland mitigation areas, wetland compensatory areas, as well as a floodplain fill area and a floodplain compensation area. So the first sheet that I handed out are the highlighted items are the conditions that were never completed for the original order of conditions. First being an as-built plan. The as-built plan would have showed some of the areas that the wetland filling took place here at subsequent earlier phases around this area here. This area has not been completed. And so there's also a letter, or at least the beginning part of a letter from Stantec, who was the original, I don't know if he's the original engineer, but he was one of the subsequent engineers who worked on the project. They were the firm that requested and asked for the subsequent extensions. In that letter, it states that within Phase 5, the floodplain compensatory area and the wetland compensatory area takes place in Phase 5. And so we believe that work is done, but it hasn't been certified or shown on an as-built plan. And so we think it would be easier for the contractor or whoever we get to finish those areas, to verify those areas, and put that onus on the new order of conditions. The original notes say that we are within floodplain. We went out and did a topographic survey of the area that was left to be done. There's no longer any floodplain on the property, at least in the developed part of the area. If you were to go out there today, and what shows on these plans, there were 3 retaining walls built here, here, and here. And the area, while Phase 5 was being, the first part of Phase 5 was being constructed, this area was being utilized as a staging area, and that area was all brought up. So we're not filling any more floodplain. The floodplain has actually already been filled. It's a buffer zone project. The blue line here is we have a new delineation. There was a delineation report included in the materials submitted. The pink line is I took the old wetland line from the original plans and digitized it onto our plans to show the difference in wetlands. As you can see, there are areas that have grown, whether naturally or maybe they just crept up to the walls. But the areas where it has grown, it certainly appears like that wetland, the wetland replication has taken place. Again, it just hasn't been certified. I should point out that 80 Way, the roadway itself doesn't change. The right-of-way is exactly in the same location as the original set of plans. There was a mix of duplexes and single-family homes. Now all 16 lots will have, the lot lines have been reconfigured such that they meet zoning to accommodate duplex construction. So the utilities basically stay the same. Obviously, the connection points are different with the new units and whatnot. The biggest change from the old plan is in the interior of 80 Way, in this location here, there was an open swale detention system. We proposed to put in a subsurface detention system and fill that over. Everything will be located within easements and whatnot, and there will be an overflow that comes out and discharges out one of the walls here. So from a utility standpoint, almost the same except for that stormwater. The floodplain in the area has already been filled. We would just need to certify that the floodplain compensation area has taken place, as well as some of the wetland areas. And so that's the reason to try and put that onus on the new order of conditions, close out the old one, and put those new conditions onto a new order.
I still don't quite understand why we wouldn't just leave the old one open and also put those responsibilities on the new one.
As far as I know, it's expired.
Yeah.
And it can't be left open.
It can't be left open.
Correct. It's expired.
Okay. Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. I forgot, yeah, I get how that works, yes. That makes sense. We will definitely be looking to, I think, carry over a few things, but it doesn't seem like there's anything too egregious here that shouldn't be carried over anyway.
We had spoken, we had met with staff a few times over this concern, and, you know, it seems like a reasonable approach to try to move this project forward. So that's what we're here for tonight.
I don't think I want to get into it today. Hopefully we have more of us for a time to, you know, get into the conversation.
Yeah, I think with the full commission, we don't want, half the commission to miss your presentation on the current project coming up and everything, so we might want to wait for them.
I don't think I'm going to be here for the next meeting either, so I might send some comments through, but
I mean, if you're, we're happy to consider any comments that board members that are here, commissioners that are here may have. It might be helpful as we move forward.
I wish that I had them for you in full transparency. Typically, projects are called by their address, whereas this one was called River's Edge, and when I went to review, I couldn't find it, so I'm not very well prepared. I will think about this, and I can certainly pass them along to one commissioner. I don't know if anybody's got anything glaring that they wanted to let them address for the next meeting. But it seems like a pretty clear start, especially where a lot of the disturbance work is complete.
When do you think you'll have, I mean, I guess you have to wait for the DEP, but do you have that in the next 2 weeks, you guess?
Should be.
I would expect so.
I would expect so, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a,
Yeah. Oh, okay, so you're like in the last step then, gotcha. So you guys would be ready for the next meeting?
absolutely,
2 weeks,
yes.
Okay, I guess I'll make a motion to move this to the February 25th meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect, we did it for.
All right.
Okay, thank you all, we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do you mind sending Kristen back in for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen snuck in.
Silent.
January 28th meeting minutes. Any comments?
I'll motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
One more motion? Unless Peter's got anything for us? All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.